welcome back to Daybreak Extra this lovely Saturday morning. And of course, we're right here in the studio. Darshan and I have been talking about a couple of odd things here and there, spitballing, having a little conversation, banter. And of course, I'm trying to balance the act between who does what, when, how, and how often.
You're trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, well, I always try this. There are always two sides to a story, and those are the kind of things that I need to.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just one.
No.
From two different people. One side, two different people.
If you say so, that's an argument.
If I do say so myself, I do say so myself.
So actually, right now we're being joined in the studio. We've been joined in the studio by a very good friend of ours who just decided to drop in and say hello on Daybreak Extra this lovely morning. Saeed is here with us this morning, and today we will be talking on the show, just spitballing. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, we pride ourselves on being very, very welcoming whenever situations like this arise. And of course, this is a family show, so
feel free to, be yourself.
Exactly.
Yes. So this is actually Saeed Hussein, and he is a researcher. So let's find out if, a researcher has what it takes, to...
Research.
We call ourselves, we pride ourselves, and we call ourselves gossips.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
we love gossips. Very important.
When you look at it now, research is a kind of gossip.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Research is a kind of gossip.
Wouldn't you say really research is the opposite of gossip? Because
no.
Research starts from gossip. Let's say that.
And the curiosity.
So
to want to know
so the gossip
more.
That's true.
And then So this is we have a number one gossip here amongst us. You understand? So we are talking about fairly odd things, and we just finished talking about the woman who actually did plastic surgery so she can have access to her husband's phone. Have we finished talking about that?
Except Saeed has something to say about it, but then, we were asking each other, what's the craze behind people wanting to find out what's on their spouse's phones?
Right.
Saeed will say research.
Surely. Surely. Sorry, but for some background, so she had to change her face to her husband's face. So now her and her husband are identical.
Yeah, they actually look alike.
They look alike. Yeah, they look like twins.
Wow.
Hussein Ada Hassan Kena.
Yeah. Just like you and me.
No, we're not.
You're
16. You're 16 years.
Yes, still, I'm a younger version.
I think the research is inconclusive.
So it could be driven by research. It could be driven by other things as well. But that's the kind of world we live in. Anyway, moving on to other stories. In China, the police actually pulled over a vehicle.
Land of the weird.
Land of the weird.
Let's go ahead. Just go ahead. Yeah, he agrees with me, so just go ahead.
That's
I thought that was Florida.
That's Florida.
What? You thought it was what?
Florida.
Is
Florida.
it
No,
Florida?
Florida. When you say China, it's a whole continent,
Right?
But Florida is just the state.
Sure.
I told you about Florida last week.
Yes, we did speak about Florida, but the jury is still out.
Florida man,
Yes.
Florida woman.
So you understand. So in southern China, actually, the cops spotted a white van. It was driving in and out of traffic, and it was causing multiple traffic issues. You understand? So they pulled over the car, and when they pulled over the vehicle and they actually gained access to it, there was a blob. That was how they described it. There was a blob of human beings crammed into that particular vehicle. It had like 40 people crammed inside.
Okay, so it's actually meant to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like a 10-seater bus,
right,
with 40 people cramped into it. Yeah. And it made it difficult for the driver to actually drive really well because he couldn't see behind.
No, that's dangerous.
And then even most of them, because of how full it was, they kept pushing him, to the wheel and everything. So 40 people. So after the cops actually, pulled the car over, they told them, please come out, line up, just keep coming. They kept coming out one after the other. It was really surprising because there were no seats in the bus. So they were all standing. And funny enough, they're actually construction workers, because of, what do you call it, the distance from where they live to the construction site,
So
talking about
they had to carpool.
transportation costs
Exactly.
and everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
They
this
had to
one will be
carpool.
carpool. You know how clowns, you can actually see 20 clowns in one small vehicle,
Exactly.
bent and everything. This was
Exactly.
how it was, but, let's have a look at the video.
So those are the scenes there actually from that clown car.
Yeah, you can call it that.
Yes, that clown car incident. And surprisingly, there were actually 39 men and
One woman, yes. So why did she stand?
Maybe she was the driver.
No, she wasn't. I doubt that. All right, so let's find out what Saeed has to say about this whole, scenario.
Well, I mean, it's a slightly sad one. Of course, it means that these people are forced to do that because surely I don't think anyone, probably even, okay, maybe with the exception of certain clowns, desires to pack into, a car to that extent. So, surely it says something about, limited alternatives and this plight of workers in a country that it was forced to or has kind of put a lot of pressure on a certain class of people in order to develop so quickly.
Exactly, and they have so many people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
China has so many people.
There's the
They have a
population
family to
question
feed.
as
Yes,
well.
They're
exactly.
probably not being paid, minimum wage.
Sure. So you have
know.
to cut corners in order to get to work. Maybe save a
But-
little bit here and there.
But I know, this is actually grounds for, an arrest and everything. But do you think they should be arrested?
The workers themselves, the
Yes.
people in the car.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not. I suspect, one would have to do some research, of course, but I suspect, I suspect that there's probably more to it. Why
Yes.
would people put themselves in that situation if they
That was
didn't
what I
have
was
to?
going. That was what I was driving.
When
at. I
you
mean,
say more
let's
to
look
it,
at the
like what?
context. Well, there has to be a context to the actual situation. We're assuming, okay, fine, these are construction workers. They're trying to carpool, get to work and back, and maybe save a few bucks. But we don't know what the dynamics actually are. There's probably a backstory to all of this. You understand? But coming back to your question, of course, it's ground for arrest. No matter what it is, no matter what reason it is you have. I mean, like the law is the law. You understand? Yeah, morally you might say, okay, fine, maybe we should leave these guys be. But I mean, legally, it's
There
not
should be
wrong.
empathy as well.
There should be, but the law is the law. As well.
Yeah,
You
but
break the law, you
even
get
even
it.
in the law,
Yeah.
there should still be, the law enforcers should still be empathetic, towards people's plights.
Absolutely. And if they arrest, arrest of whom? Is it who has broken the rule?
Because when you arrest them, imagine arresting 40 people and expecting them to bail themselves. Where would they
Right.
get the money? If they actually had that, had money lying around, they wouldn't have, cramped up
in
into
the
that
first
bus.
place, yeah.
Well, as I said,
Yeah, devil's
the law
advocate.
is the
Wait,
law.
Ibrahim, what's wrong with you?
The law is the law. You understand? No matter what reason you have, the law is the law. You understand?
That's all you
I'm
have
not-
to say.
I'm not
The
saying,
law is the law.
I'm not saying that people should not be empathetic. Of course, I'm all for empathy and everything like that. But still, laws are actually made for a reason. Just like we gave the context. When they were driving, they were causing all sorts of traffic havoc. You understand? They could have hurt somebody.
So will they allow them, cramp back into the bus?
They should.
Or how will they get to their
They
destination?
walk.
They walk.
Yes. They walk.
But one thing I know is that the Chinese actually have, all these bicycles, lying around. All you have to do is like pay an amount of money, and then, you have access to one of the bicycles, and then you can drive to whatever, ride to whatever it is you want to.
Well, I guess that's the thing. It depends on the amount of money and also the distance you're trying to cover. So,
And then if you're tech savvy as well.
Yes, so you probably need
So that's the thing.
a smartphone.
So that's the thing. I mean, like, these are construction workers. Really,
Right, yeah.
Really. So, anyway, the law is the law.
Okay, all right, moving on to the next story. Yes, it is allowed for you to, when you're entering a bus, we're still talking about buses, by the way. When you're about to enter a bus, what are you supposed to do? Even BRT buses in Lagos and, normal buses that we have around, you're supposed to pay your bus fare before, entering the bus to drive you to your destination and everything. And there's this particular guy, he was actually drunk when he decided to, enter the bus. He paid his money and everything, but for some reason, when the bus conductor, went round checking for tickets and all that, he found this man. I don't know, he probably saw him in his dream, or the look of the man actually irked him, or something. I'm really not sure, but this man met up with the drunk guy and asked for his ticket, and then he gave him ticket. You know how some law enforcement men, law enforcement officers try to find a fault, like, show me your particulars. It's okay. Show me your driver's license. Let me check, if your tires have expired. Like they try to find a fault. They must. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Do you get?
Yeah.
So this particular ticket, the conductor tried to find a fault with that man, and luckily for the conductor, the guy had a pigeon. Yes, he had a pigeon with him in the bus, and this man went on to ask for the pigeon's ticket.
Yes.
Like seriously, who does that?
Yes.
Who does that? No, there are buses where pets are not allowed and everything, but pets are actually allowed, and it's a pigeon, for God's sakes.
Surely you should ride for free, right?
Like, yeah. Is the pigeon a citizen? Does the pigeon pay taxes?
But the owner of the pigeon is a citizen.
So you have to pay for the pigeon?
Taxes. Of course you have to pay for the pigeon. If the pigeon doesn't want to pay for the bus, then
How?
fly. Exactly.
How?
Let it fly to
But
where it's going to. I mean, like,
but
he has wings.
But the pigeon isn't sitting on its own seat. Surely
Exactly.
It's sitting on the passenger.
Exactly. You have a lot of women, with their children sitting on their laps, and they only pay one person's fare.
We
So,
can't be too sure that the pigeon wasn't sitting. We can't be too sure.
so
You
if
understand?
the pigeon was sitting on a different seat, then it's possible that it was just an extra seat. So anyone that comes and needs a seat, the pigeon has
They would
to.
have to-
Still, he occupied that space at that time, which means another person cannot sit at that particular place. So you pay for the pigeon. Yes, if you have a pigeon, you pay for it.
See how cute the pigeon looks, like innocent
So
pigeon.
that's the thing.
Very
You
nice
see,
looking
the
pigeon.
pigeon sitting on or should I say standing, on a seat.
Okay,
with a
but then,
newspaper
what
inside
size
it.
of non-human creature do you charge? So will you charge bacteria or viruses or
Well, you can't see. You can't see
Microorganisms.
Well, you can't see those.
Microorganisms.
You can't see
So
those,
then it's all about
and,
size.
and nobody's claiming ownership of those,
Right.
right? Now, if I decide I went to the market and I bought a chicken, and I carried my chicken inside the bus, I should be willing to pay for that chicken.
Right.
You understand? Or if I buy a goat,
No, but do you know that if
How
you're
about
if you're riding a bus, right, you actually have access to a certain weight.
Yeah.
You understand, a certain kilogram of
Luggage.
goods, luggage. Yes. So the pigeon is. All right. So the conductor actually stated that he had not issued the pigeon a ticket because the drunken passenger did not board the bus with the bird. So apparently.
So it was not
The
his
bird flew in.
it was not his bird.
It wasn't his
That's
bird.
what's so fine.
So instead, the
Yeah.
pigeon landed on the window ledge, and the man simply grabbed it.
Probably one.
That's his soft side.
We don't know what he wanted to do with the pigeon.
And then he said, you know, the conductor actually cited, you know, an official government rule, and the rule states that conductors must charge an additional 1/4 of the standard fare for any passenger transporting 30 pigeons. So it has to be 30 and above. But you just have one.
The law is the law, as someone said.
No, but you just have one pigeon. It has to be 30 and above
Yes,
for you to
but
charge.
exactly. But the thing
Based
is,
on the law, the pigeon rides free.
but the thing is, did the drunken guy claim ownership of the pigeon? We don't know that. Yeah. If he claims ownership of the pigeon, then if you're supposed to pay a fourth,
I have a feeling what you're saying will make sense, but continue.
I'm not. I'm very one.
No, seriously, because you're what are you calculating?
I'm
Like
trying to
seriously,
calculate. You're supposed to pay 1/4 if you're transporting 30.
30 pigeons.
Exactly. So then, if one out of 30 is what, then we do the
no, if it's 29, you're not paying anything. If it's 28, you're not paying anything. If it's 1, in fact.
They really need to look at that law. They really need to look at it. You know, I mean, like, how can a pigeon ride for free? It has wings, for God's sake. Fly.
It's tired of flying now.
Why?
It wants to chill.
Then walk.
It wants Can you walk?
You know?
Why didn't you walk to work today? Just a simple question, but you don't need to answer that.
I will not answer. I refuse to answer that question.
Okay, so do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I think, pigeons ride for free.
Exactly. So even puppies, you know, dogs and cats ride for free, not talk of pigeons. All right, so we'll take this quick break and we'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned.